everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and for today's review we're going to take a look at the new 6-inch Batman the Animated Series Man-Bat figure from DC Collectibles. Now this figure comes packaged in the same kind of style of packaging that we've seen with the other Batman the Animated Series figures, but it's a much larger package. It's a box as opposed to a card back. Basically because the figure is a bit bigger, and especially with the wingspan, so they've given it this much larger package. So like, here's a comparison of a regular Batman the Animated Series figure, the Robin figure, which we'll be looking at tomorrow, but you can see how much bigger the packaging for the Man-Bat is. Now the Man-Bat figure actually costs the same as the other figures, so even though it's in bigger packaging and everything, it actually only costs the same, about $20–$25 at your local comic book store. So the cost is the same, even though it does come in this bigger packaging. So we've got this window box packaging, and you've got the figure clearly displayed with the wingspan out. And then you can see the accessories down here below, and then you've got the Batman the Animated Series logo off to the corner here. On the side we have that Batman the Animated Series logo. Tells us that this is figure 7 in the series. Also tells us on the other side it's got the name of the character and says, you know, it's figure number 7. And then it also tells us that this figure was sculpted by Irene Matar, just like the Joker figure that we looked at yesterday. And then finally on the back, again, we just have that Batman the Animated Series logo. Nothing too spectacular on the back of the packaging for these figures. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, along with all the accessories that come with this figure. Now, the accessories for this figure are based on the Batman the Animated Series episode titled "On Leather Wings," and basically it's the origin story of the Man-Bat character in the cartoon. So, and basically the plot of it is the episode starts off with this mysterious bat-looking creature or person is attacking pharmaceutical companies, or a pharmaceutical company, and Batman gets the blame for it because obviously this creature looks like a bat, a human-sized bat, and so they assume it's Batman. And so the police start hunting for Batman. And Batman starts to investigate to see who's like trying to frame him, and so you get the accessories that come with this figure. Is you get this little cassette player, and this is basically the guard in the pharmaceutical company that gets attacked by the Man-Bat in the beginning of the episode is doing a recording for some kind of I don't know, some kind of voiceover commercial thing he's recording, and the Man-Bat attacks, and so he gets the Man-Bat's screeching on this tape, which Batman later finds as evidence, and then he takes the tape to Langstrom, who is the real name of the Man-Bat character, and is an expert in bats, and basically Batman's trying to figure out what the sound is on this tape. So it basically ends up being evidence in the episode. The other accessories is it comes with 3 little tiny pill bottles, and these are all identical. White cap, brown bottle, blank label. In the cartoon, the label I actually think says something like Phoenix Pharmaceutical or something, but with these, you know, they're really tiny and the labels are blank. But these are basically the drugs that Langstrom is stealing so that he can create the formula that changes him into the Man-Bat. So you get 3 of those, and you know, really, I mean, you know, they're episode specific accessories, these 4 things, but there's not a whole lot you can really do with them. So it's kind of cool that we get them, but at the same time, you know, again, there's not really a whole lot that you can do with those specifically. So the other accessories that he comes with is he basically comes with 2 pairs of arms. Basically a pair of arms for the wings that are, you know, out like in flight mode, and that's what comes attached with the figure. And so, you know, this is like if you want to, I guess, get him into flight poses, basically his wings are open. And then he comes with a second pair of arms, which are more like for the wings to be closed, or you know, when he's not in flight. And the arms just pop out. They're little hinges, ball hinge joints with, you know, these like pegs, so and that just fit in the hole. So they just pull right out, and then you can put in the alternate pair of arms. And so this, you know, these extra set of arms are basically with the wings kind of closed in, so if he was just standing there. And then the final accessory is that figure stand we see with all the figures in this line. So you've got the white base with the turnaround images of the character. You've got the clear plastic arm that extends forward and backwards. And this again is primarily, you know, just to keep the figure from standing. And with this particular figure, you probably are going to need this. This character does not stand very well on his own, especially with the arms with the wings folded in. You can kind of prop him up with the wings with the other arms, but this figure on his own really just does not stand very well, so you probably will be wanting to use the figure stand much more with this figure than you do with the others. And then finally, just real quick, just like we saw with the Joker yesterday that we looked at, the figure comes with a little checklist showing the first 12 figures in the line. We've got up to figure 7 released. So Joker, Robin, and Man-Bat all came out this week. Poison Ivy will probably be coming out very soon. On the back of that's just the Batman the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures logos. And then we also get that universal instruction sheet that I showed you with the Joker figure, so it shows you how the figure stand works. And then on the other side it gives you directions for the Joker, Robin, Poison Ivy, and the Man-Bat, you know, how to switch out the hands, the capes, Joker's air mask helmet, and the Man-Bat's wings. So this is going to come with all of the figures in this wave. So I think the paint apps on this figure are simple, but they look good. No noticeable errors or anything. Pretty simplistic paint apps for the most part. So you've got the all very dark brown for the body of the bat. You know, he doesn't have a shirt on or anything. I really like the head sculpt. I like the detailing with the jaw. I like how you can see the tongue inside the mouth, the ears. You know, he's got some line work, some black line work inside the ears, so that looks pretty good. The wings, again, pretty nice detailing. Simple paint apps. You've got this kind of light brown for the wings, same as inside the ears. Then you've got some darker brown for like his fingernails, or some the fingernails extend out to the wings. And that's the same for both pairs of arms, basically. And he's got these gray pants, and then again with his lower ankles and feet, you know, the dark brown. Now I do notice on my figure there's this weird circle mark on his crotch area. I don't know what that is, but it's not anything major, but just wanted to point that out. But again, no major paint errors, no paint flaking with this one. Very, very solid look and feel for the figure, and I think they did a good job of capturing the look from the cartoon and everything. Okay, so the figure stands at about 7 inches if you count to the tip of his ears. So he stands about 7 inches, and then his wingspan with the extended wing arms is about 15 inches in width. So he's a pretty decent sized figure. Here he is next to Batman, and you can see he's definitely a little bit taller than Batman, definitely wider than Batman. And just for one more, here he is next to the Joker figure, and you can see he is taller to the Joker as well. Okay, so articulation on this figure, it's okay, it's not the greatest, but you know, this is kind of an awkwardly designed character, so I kind of understand some of the lack of articulation on it. Most notably, it doesn't have any kind of elbow joints, no wrist articulation on either sets of arms. And then for me, probably the most disappointing is that you can't get the head up at all for like flight poses. So the head is on a ball joint, so you can look left and right. Little bit of down movement, but not really a whole lot. But no up movement. You can't get the head looking up. So the neck's kind of, sculpted in a way so it's pointing outward. So when you get him into like a flight pose, he's basically looking straight down. So you can't get that head up at all looking forward. So to me, that's a bit disappointing. The arms are on ball hinge joints, so he's got good rotation at the arms. He can get the arms out pretty good. Now they do kind of sometimes pop out, because they are interchangeable arms. So they do have it, especially the wings that are more closed have a tendency to pop out, kind of because they've sculpted. He's got these kind of big pointy shoulders, and so when you try and do it out, you kind of have to turn the arms and then do them outward if you want to get the arms out without popping off. Then again, as I said, no elbow articulation on either sets of arms, no wrist articulation on either sets of arms. He does have an ab crunch and a swivel at the there at the chest section, so he's got that, and he can look down good. Can look up a little bit, but again, not really enough to help with flight poses. But definitely can crunch down a whole lot. He does not have a waist swivel, and then the legs are on those hinges, so he can do like the splits, and you can get the legs forward about that much. Now, because the legs are sculpted, where the knees are bent, even when you do the legs forward, their legs are still basically forward and down. So you can do like straight down where the bottom part of the legs are then pointing more backwards. He's got knee joints, single hinge knees, but honestly they don't do a whole lot. He has very little bending at the knee. No swivel or anything at the knee either. He does have swivels here at like the calf muscle, so you can swivel the feet, but no other articulation there with the ankles. And then he's got 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. And also just want to note, on this figure, you do see the pins for the joints at the shoulders. Nowhere else. Well, you kind of see them here at the midsection, but they're mostly covered. The pins are mostly covered there, and then you don't see them on the legs or anything. Also, I just want to note, as with the Joker, I think DC Collectibles has done a good job with the joint construction on this. I don't think you're going to have to worry about joints breaking on this figure. Good solid joints. You don't have those clear plastic joints anymore. So I definitely think DC Collectibles has fixed that problem with these figures. Now on this particular figure though, I do want to note, because the wings are kind of, a heavy plastic, and so they make the arms kind of heavy. So like when you have the wings, in a flight pose, especially with the extended wings, they're going to probably have a tendency to kind of drop down because they're so heavy. And I could see, the joints are a little bit loose here at the shoulders, mainly because of the interchangeable arms. And I could see over time these joints even getting more loose as you use them more and more. So, you want to definitely make sure that you push them in tight, but even still, you've got that tendency for them to kind of drop down when you're like trying to do flight poses and stuff. So just something I wanted to note. But again, the overall construction of the joints are very solid, and I don't think you have to worry about them breaking. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think this is a nice looking figure. I think DC Collectibles did a good job with capturing the overall look and feel of the character, as we saw in the cartoon. The lack of articulation, especially with the head joint, not being able to look up for flight poses, is a little disappointing to me. The elbow and wrist articulation is also a bit disappointing, though I do kind of understand that with the way this character is designed, that those joints are kind of hard to do. But still, You know, that's probably the weakest thing about this figure, is just the certain lack of articulation in certain areas of it. But I do think that the figure looks good. The accessories are kind of cool, you know, very episode specific, so it's not a whole lot you can really do with them, and they are very tiny and probably very easy to lose. But it is kind of cool that we get things like that. I would have liked to seen maybe if they turned this into like a deluxe figure and given us like a human Langstrom and the Man-Bat Langstrom, so that you could kind of do like a transformation thing. But as it is, you know, again, I think this is a pretty cool looking and nice looking figure. This figure is out on shelves now, so if you want to add it to your collection, check your local comic and specialty shops or online e-tailer. And we will have a full gallery of images for this figure over on toynewseye.com. There's a link in the description below for that. So as always, we ask, you know, please leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.